thank y'all all for coming. As I look at this crowd and I remind myself where this was 3 or 4 years ago, and I look at new faces and old, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that y'all trust us to get your kids better as players and as young men. No? I'm gonna yell at everybody.
Speak out. Speak up. Yep.
Speak louder into it.
Closer. No, just speak louder.
Boom, boom, boom.
Right there. Right there. Right there.
Sorry about that. Said, as I look around out here, though, I'm very grateful to see how far we've come over the last 4 years. See how many people are trusting us to develop, their child, their son as a young man and as a player. First, I want to say thank you to each of the parents that made this possible today, and everybody. I know I can't go through the list, but I really appreciate y'all. Usually we just do it around Christmas, but doing it now, I think it was a good time, and we had a couple of special things we wanted to bring up. I'll go through what I go through first most of the time when I'm able to talk to everybody all at once. I've seen a lot of good come out of the practices. I've seen a lot of people do lessons. I've seen a lot of kids put in time. There is absolutely no substitute for how much work you put in away from us. And part of what I think you're paying for and spending all your time at the park for is each coach on the staff is going to recommend to every kid, go work on the game by yourself. It's when you learn the most. Doesn't matter how good a coach is. If there's 12 kids and there's one coach or even 3 coaches or 5 coaches, if we get a great ratio like we want, you're not going to get as good as you will figuring out your swing by yourself in your backyard. That's one big one for me. Another one that, and kind of the main reason that I wanted to do this is we're very close to getting our lease set up for 3 to 5 years at a commercial building. One potential area right now is just south of the airport, and another one is just barely west of Southtown. And that's just going to be kind of as we go through and we're talking to other people and trying to figure out, is this right for us? We're not real estate people, we're baseball people. And trying to figure out, though, where we can have a place to call home for your sons. And what that looks like on our end, and part of why I wanted to make sure that the people that could be here in person could hear it in person. To offset some of the costs there, the dues will have to go up the month before we get into that building. Now, by my math, unless it's unreasonable what we're getting charged, which we wouldn't enter a lease if we were going to get our eyes poked out, it shouldn't be more than $50 a month. But the reason we want to do that, and after weighing, all of the different ways that we could offset some of that cost, we don't want to rent it to people. We do not want people to be able to come in from outside and, hey, well, we've got to pay the rent or get this done this month, so we're going to rent it out on Friday and have somebody come out here, and then the facility's closed for our guys. So rather than that, as much as I want to keep everything as affordable as possible, going up another 30 to 50 and keeping it private for us, and that way when there's not a team practice, you've got a cage. I mean, there will be designated cages for lessons, but then there will be like open cage nights where when you're done or there's no practice going on, you can go in there and hit at any time you want. You can go throw a pin. There will be a weight room. Tristan will say some stuff about the weight room part. That's going to be kind of a part of our culture there. And then in the summer, it becomes kind of like baseball daycare. I've seen a couple people nod their heads because, yeah, it is like drop your kid off, go do what you got to do. It'll be a boot camp style in the summer, and the reason for that is and Josh will get to this more.
Thank you.
Our success rate of actually putting kids in college was really tough to test our first 2 years, 2022, 2023, because the kids that we had for 2 years, we got them when they were 16. A lot of bad habits set in, a lot of X or Y or Z, but the kids that we started with that were 13 or 14, out of the 12, 8 are off the board and going somewhere, or they just left and went somewhere. And then for this year, out of the last year, it's 5 or 6. And that's, I expect those numbers to get better. When we get a kid when he's 12, it's like, how many good habits can we put in this young man to where when he's 16, it's just like, go play, man. And you've got it. Let me cheat sheet real quick. Sorry.
Bring it closer so we can hear you.
Yeah, and then
There you go.
kind of a minor point, but when we do get into the everybody signs whatever they sign when it's time to go for league apps. I'll have a couple of forms when we do get into the facility that I just ask with as many people as a blessing as it is to have as many people as we do. Just the first time you go in that facility, go to the office and just sign a couple of papers there. There's going to be a couple of different things, and then one of my big ones that has just come up a lot recently, and it's not a pure negative thing. The 24-hour rule on after games is not, I think that it's interpreted sometimes as, well, if I'm not going to go, say something ugly or complain, then the rule doesn't matter. It is actually not for that. I mean, they're grown men, and if somebody has something to contest about the way they're coaching, that's part of our job. A lot of it is I don't like bringing in people that I don't think know the game. So unless I expand staff to people that I'm not comfortable and don't trust around your kids, I sometimes have to have a guy get done at noon and be 30 minutes away in about 45 minutes. So a lot of it is really just a scheduling thing and keeping things on task, and one guy being late to another team's thing because one person had something that probably could have been a text message 24 hours later. That's, I want it to stay efficient for the kids that he's going to see, not just the kids that coach is leaving. And then I wanted to, say in front of everybody, the organization part will get cleaner. I know that there's days where we get the practice schedule sent out Friday night the week before, and we feel pretty good about ourselves when we do that. And then there's weeks where we get it out the Monday, and sometimes there's a Monday practice. Some of that is finding our footing. Some of that is the growth is a blessing. St. Mary's we can't run 15 teams out of St. Mary's. Getting a home for ourselves, for your boys, we'll practice more. It won't, like I said, it won't become something where we rent to the public. It'll become something where your sons just double the reps. And that's kind of what we're looking at. My last thing is I also want to clean up our communication to y'all on the, kind of on the opposite end of the 24-hour rule is I don't want your questions to not be answered. And, that's one of the things that drives people nuts. So what we've kind of done is, because for us internally, it's never like he's going to do this, he's going to do this, he's going to do this. It's more like, let's figure it out. Let's do this together. But for the sake of, keeping everything in line, Josh is going to be, sending practices, doing jerseys, and everything schedules from 6 to 10U. Got the ages right there? Braden is going to do it from 11 through 14U, and Tristan and myself will do it from 15 to 18U. And that way, as far as you getting a response, if Josh gets 84 texts in one day, you're probably just not getting a reply that day. Not a personal thing, it's just not going to happen. But if we can split those into thirds, and you can text your team's coach first if it's something that he can answer. If you think it's something he can't answer and you're on the 7U, text your team's coach and text Josh. If you're on the 12U, text Braden, and I guess that would be Braden too. So the system's not perfect, but point being, just so we can get back with everybody within 24 hours is our goal. I know it drives people nuts. I think they need an answer, they need to know something, and I'm like, hey, dude, why haven't you gotten back with him? And he's like, well, I have 100 texts over the last 7 hours. I want to get back with everybody. I want everybody to get their questions answered. Thank y'all again. I'm going to let Josh talk for a bit and let others talk for a bit. I really appreciate y'all. I'm so excited to get back on the field with your sons and bounce around and see a lot of different age groups and watch a lot of baseball. And genuinely, thank you for trusting us and stick to the process as best as you can. Train outside of us. No one select program is going to get you to college by itself, and anybody that says they do is lying. You've got to do stuff by yourself. So thank y'all again. I appreciate it.
No, go ahead.
Everybody, just building off of what Brett said, the first thing I'm going to talk about is rosters going into the fall. As far as about August 16th or August 17th, that's the date that every organization rolls over, whether it's perfect game, 5-tool, NCS. That's the date that your kid ages up from wherever they were playing this past season to wherever they're going to play for the next 365 days. The way that works is, however old your kid is right now, if they have a birthday before May 1st, their playing age is whatever age they're turning. So if a kid is 10, but his birthday is in April, turning 11, that date is before May 1st, which means that kid is only 11U eligible. He's 10, but he cannot play 10U. Vice versa, if that 10-year-old is born May 2nd, he's allowed to play 10U through next August. Even after he's turned 11 in May, he can still play May, June, July, as that older age still playing down. I have a lot of questions come through about that. I just want everyone to kind of have a rough estimate of where your kid is supposed to be playing naturally with this birthday. So building off of that, as we adjust our rosters in the fall, I just want every one of you guys to know that every one of your kids is thought about with time, effort, and care. There's not one parent or child I look at when I come out here to these events and think, we're not at home giving you at least 5 to 10 minutes of discussion on what's best for that kid, his progression, why he's on the team he's on, where we think he can be in 6 to 12 months. Things like that, I know some parents see themselves on a blue team or on a gold team, and whether you end up on a blue team being a player that plays nonstop or a gold team being someone that doesn't play, you're there for a purpose. If that purpose is, hey, I think you need a ton of reps, I think you're really good, but you need to go and get more and more and more on-field experience, I'm going to put you somewhere you're going to play, where I know that coach is going to look at you and see you as kind of a leader, someone that I'm going to have to use more often. Vice versa, if I think your kid has kind of some of that talent, but needs more of an internal drive, or, hey, let's build that leadership, and he's playing up with some kids that are a little older or better, that has nothing to do with that specific player's skill, and a lot to do with what's going on up here and what I think we see internally. So I don't want people to get offended or get an ego when they see where they're located come the fall, because ultimately my goal isn't for your kid to be the best he can be in 2 months. It's in 6 to 10 years, depending on your age. If I see a kid who has a beautiful swing but he can't throw nothing, I'm going to put him somewhere where he's going to get those fielding reps. He's going to get to throw. He's going to get to see live plays. Because I know he can hit. I know that's going to continue to develop. But no coach is going to take a kid who can do one without the other. And I don't want your kid to be left behind. And that's the other. It's always subject to change. No one is locked in place. I've seen kids, I coached a 7U team last year, and I saw, I never like calling out names, but Liam, wherever Liam is, he went 4 for 4 with 4 doubles. I hadn't seen him hit more than maybe 1 in a weekend. But what I saw from him this weekend makes me reconsider, makes me think, oh, that at-home work, the videos his parents send me, the text messages where we're communicating about what he can do to get better, they're taking it serious. I know that kid, and this isn't about him specifically, but any kid, if I see that dedication and that progression at home, I know that he's going to progress a lot faster than a kid that I know isn't doing anything at home, whether that kid's better or worse. So things like that go into play a lot. We look at factors like parent dedication, attendance, everything. It's not just player skill. And going into that, when we find a roster that we think works, that's it. Your team is set. We're going to find a coach that we think the parents like, we think meshes with the kids, meshes with the parents, and we're going to let you guys roll for as long as we can keep you together, as long as we think you're developing and it's working. I don't want anyone to think we've forgotten about their child or left them behind, because ultimately our goal is to have every team as successful as one another. We want organization head to toe as quality as any other part. Going off going off this into the schedules. That being said, the gold teams are going to play less baseball and more practice. If you're at a point where I think you understand the game, there's no point in putting you out there in a tournament that I know you're going to win by 20 every game. That doesn't get your kid better. But if I have 2, 4, 6 kids on a team that are kind of equal skill set, and we can go out on a weekend and practice for 2 hours and get 50 reps pitching and 5 or 6 at bats where we wouldn't have gotten playing, and our kids are building each other up, I think that's a lot more progressive for us than going out there not really building anything, feeling good about ourselves for beating a team that we're going to beat no matter what. For our blue teams, you are going to play a ton. You're all registered in 5-tool league as well as a few tournaments throughout the season. At that point, it is about reps. It's about seeing the game. It's about seeing every situation from different angles and understanding why you need to do the things you do. I hate coaches who tell kids, this is what you need to do because I said so, because I'm your coach. You hear that and that gives you nothing to think about, gives you nothing to build off of. I want your kids to understand the why. I want them to see the how and see what needs to be necessary. Once I feel like, regardless of skill, we're kind of at that point where we understand what's going on. I know what to do. Maybe I'm not making all the right decisions, but I'm thinking it through. I'm leaving my throws a little short. My swing's a little late, but my decision making is right. Okay, now I'm going to take you to a practice and we're going to work on honing those little skills. You're making the right decisions, so let's go get your swing a little faster. Let's go get your throws a little harder. And then we'll go back out, and now you're at a point where you can go beat the teams, be successful, constant practice, and constant competition against the best level. Because that's the end goal, is to have all your kids kind of in that 14 to 16 range, playing 17 to 18U ball, ready for varsity baseball, ready to go compete for college. For ages 14 and under, your schedules I'll be sending out tonight after the tryout. I'm going to get with Coach Justin, get those on a little sheet, and then I'll start sending those out. 15, 16, and 18U, those will probably be out at the end of the weekend. For high school, we're going to do the same thing we did this summer. I thought it was really productive. The 216 or 316U teams are going to be on the same schedule. All our coaches are going to be out there every weekend. Same tournaments, same competition. At that point, when you're 16, we can't be coddling you. We need to push you. We need to get you where you need to go. Whether you're ready or not, it's our job to speed that process up or push you to the next level if you're kind of where we think you need to be.
I know that there's not a lot of 16s here, and this will get sent out. The guys, once they hit 15, and I think he'll go more in depth, if you're sub 3.0, you're gone. It's just a waste of time. And it's really sad when you have a kid go out there that can ball, but he can't. Sorry. He can ball, he can hit, he can throw, he can pitch, and he can't go to the classroom and do his job there, whatever the issue is. And then that kid, because he's good, goes to the showcase and steals a look or two, and then the kid that is right behind him gets overlooked. But I need the kid that can actually go to college because he pays attention and does whatever he needs to do. So that we were really strict on that a couple of summers back. We're definitely going back to that. It's just a huge waste of time to develop a kid, and it's really a waste of money on y'all's end when you spend years getting them ready, and then it come to time, hey, what's your GPA? 2.35. Well, I'm like, Bubba, we're not even trying. We're not even trying. We're not even begging for the points. You got to write your name and circle C. I think you can get a 2.5. So 3.0 when we get back to 15. Sorry, I forgot that.
My last big one is the fundraiser we just had. Justin's going to go into a little detail, but with that being the 50-50 split, I'm going to go in each game changer probably tomorrow and send out a little poll giving you a rough estimate of how much your team raised, and a bunch of ideas that we think are beneficial to the kids, their development, their progression. And then there'll also be a little block for suggestions from you guys. Ultimately, that portion of the money is your guys to decide what we spend it on. We just want to guide in a direction that benefits them on the field and makes them a little better there. And then our portion, we're technically not allowed to use it for any type of payments or deposits or anything for a purchase of the building. So what we're kind of doing is holding on to that until we lock down our building, and then those funds are basically going to go to our interior. The machines, the weighted balls, the weight set, the flat gloves, all the things we're going to use, training devices for your children. That's kind of what we're holding on to that money for, so that the facility isn't just bare bones when we get it. It's got a little substance. We can get going on different methods on how to train your kids. A little more like when we're at St. Mary's in the cages. That's about all I got. I'm gonna pass it over here to Justin. Good morning. Good job.
First off, I just want to again say thank you to the cause, Medina, Dixon, and Garza family, and everyone who made this happen. It was a great showing, and I'm very proud of what we put on.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
And then real quick, just tip my cap to Josh and Brett. I remember 3 years ago, roommates in college, working hard through the night after practice, and then going to practice, and then going home and getting ready to do it all over again. It was a grind, and I'm happy to see what y'all built and see everyone here. I mean, 300 plus people here just supporting is a great thing. Okay, something quick. The website, ChargersBaseballAcademy.com is live, and it's a great asset for the organization as a whole. Everything is on there. Use it, spread it to wherever you want. The practice schedule is also on there. I'm going to be working with Josh every weekend to get that out as soon as possible. Probably Sunday? Fridays. We're going to set the standard right there at Fridays. Communication.
Most likely Fridays. Okay? Most likely.
I'd just like to reinforce what Brett said about using the right channels about communication. There's a ton of y'all here, and believe me that we talk daily throughout the day, and it's very hard to keep track. Join the group me. Get with me after this to join the group me. Thank you to everyone who supported and helped out in the fundraiser. Shout out to Eli Cause, our top individual fundraiser, and 12U Gold as our top team. Let's give them a hand.
Yay.
Eli know that he fundraised?
Yes. Oh, he was out there.
Shout out
working.
Eli, thank you.
He was working his ass
I will
off.
be working with Josh to make sure that money is put to good use, and we're able to make sure everything is recorded rightly. And last thing I have is social media. Too many videos and pictures of your kids playing is not a thing. I need the pictures. Post all you want, and I guarantee that I'll get to all of them. Showcase your kids, showcase the atmosphere, tag us, and help us build this brand together, because it's going upwards.
Again, I want to thank all of y'all for being here. It's such a blessing for all of y'all to be in front of me, to see all of my beautiful families and y'all's children. I've just loved the journey we've been on together. A little bit about what I'm going to be doing going forward. I'm going to have a new role. It's going to be the Director of Player Development. A little bit about what that entails is I will be still at every single one of your kids' events. I will be at practices. I will be at games, evaluations, you name it. I think me and my staff, we discussed, and we think my time is better spent instead of being on one roster with 14 kids, that I can oversee everyone and I can input my effort wherever it needs. I know a little bit, we've had a couple questions about the 10U and those age groups. I will be around y'all. I will make sure that your kid is getting the work he needs, and we're gonna brush over everything, okay? So if you have any questions about that, contacts with players, coaches, admin, all of it, I got you. I will make sure that you are heard and that we relay the message to each other so we can find the best solution for whatever your issue is. On top of that, so I just want to talk about what my goal is with this new role, whatever you want to call it. My goal is simple, is to create elite baseball players that are capable of competing at the college level and beyond, okay? To get there, though, I need good young men. Discipline, integrity, character, all of the above. Motivation will only get you so far in this game. I'm going to wake up some mornings hurting, bruised, a little tired, probably a little dehydrated, but it doesn't matter sometimes because you got to get out of bed and take steps towards the goal. You know, discipline creates consistency. It creates growth, and then growth creates success. You know, so if we follow that pattern of having a foundation of discipline, we can get your kids to the next level, because day in and day out, they're choosing steps towards their success rather than immediate satisfaction, whether that be video games with Timmy at night. You know, going up to bed early is a lot better than staying up all night playing Fortnite. A couple of my 18-year-olds admitted to watching Love Island late at night when it comes out. I don't know if that's any of y'all and y'all's kids, but my 18-year does. So just stuff like that, you know. It's always better to choose discipline over having fun, you know. This grind of baseball and being with CBA, it's going to be a long journey, you know, but it's going to be worth it in the end. I know a lot of y'all have goals for your children to grow up to be amazing people, and I have the same goal. I want them to be winners at life, not just on the baseball field, but good sons, hopefully a husband one day, a father, you know. That's what we're looking deeper into, and we always want them to be the best on the field, but it really matters off the field, because that'll create a better baseball player in the long run. So that's a little bit about our goal. How we're going to do that is we're going to be starting to develop standards organization-wide between coaches and admin with players, vice versa with coaches and parents. You know, the communication is going to be a big part for us moving forward, because we're going to need everybody, all hands on deck when we're doing this. And for your kids, it's going to be worth it, you know. So if we have everybody as a family unit working together to a goal, who can stop us, you know? So moving forward, that's going to be a big part of what we're going to be doing. Another thing is going to be age-specific priorities. I don't want my 8U and my 6U doing the same thing as my 18-year-olds, you know? When you're younger, it's about having fun, getting a knack for the game, learning how to work, and have fun doing it. And then as we get older, we progress and we try to detail and hone the skills of being a baseball player. That's through 11 through 14U, and by the time we're 14 years old, we're talking about varsity baseball. And once we're talking about varsity baseball, then we open doors to college baseball. And then from there, sky's the limit. It all depends, though, on the work you do, like these guys have said over and over, at home. We only get you for an hour and a half a day, you know? So what you tell your children and what you feed your children and when you tell them to go to bed and how much they have their phone and all that good stuff matters more than what I get to tell them in an hour and a half. So a lot of the work happens at home, you know? Be hard on your children. It'll be better for them. It's better them to learn the lesson early than later in life when things are higher stakes, you know? So that's all we're trying to get at. We love your children, and we know you and us want the best for your children at all times. A little bit on to that. I'll be rotating at practices, like I said before, with this new role. So I will be inputting myself where we think teams need the most help, whether that be lack of staff, lack of players. We'll figure it out. I'll be there, I'll insert myself, and I will figure out the issue. Last thing, if we're gonna do this, our kids need to know baseball, okay? So if they're watching cartoons at home, it's probably not better than a baseball game. So if you want your kids to be eventually a college baseball player, take them to a game, you know? Instead of taking them to the bowling alley or doing something, let's get a hot dog, parents get a beer, go watch a game, go have fun together, absorb all of the baseball, because you'll learn more, your kids will learn more, and you'll just know what to do a little bit more moving forward, you know? Parents, if you can pick up a thing or two, it helps us, you know? So let's just work together in this whole process of getting your kid where we want him to be. But other than that, I want to close what Josh said earlier. Our goal is we don't want to have the best 10-year-olds in San Antonio, you know? That does us no good. I know y'all see the games and y'all pull up the games and the coaches are just sending them, hey, go, 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 because they know kids can't make throws like that yet. That's not good for the game of baseball. So if we lose a game off of playing the game with integrity, I would rather have that than our kids learn bad habits. Because when you go, like you said, to the 13U field and you're 13 years old and those same coaches are telling you, go, 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 they're going to look and it's 90 feet and it's going to look like a mile. And the throws that they used to get away with are going to be easy outs, you know? So that's just an example. This is what we're doing. We know the game, and we're trying to make the best decisions for your kid, even if it takes a loss. If we think your kids are bad at fielding, we're going to work on fielding, even if you think the runs are what's going to win us the games, you know? So that's just stick with us. The end goal is to have an 18-year-old that we can market, that's a good kid, integrity, character, and discipline, like we said, and a good GPA. Once we have that, sky's the limit. I can market him, I can talk to people. All of these guys played at college level. So if we have connections, so do y'all, okay? So feel free to communicate with us about your kid, development, any of that. We've got you, and we're here for you. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank you. Congratulations. Come on, Bray.
Thank y'all so much for coming out. Again, it was a blessing to have y'all here in front of us. We love y'all, and we hope to have a good journey with y'all.
Thank you, Timo. Congratulations.
I'm Coach Bray. I probably sent you a message on Facebook, probably something like that, but I'm just happy to be here, and I'm really excited to see everybody's face here. This is awesome. We love baseball. We love having y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Good job, Mike. Good job, Bray. Oh, my God.